Welcome back to Reflect Politics. My name is Brendan. I've got a couple interesting clips for you today. The first is of Pete Hegseth's lawyer giving what I thought was a disastrous interview on CNN. He admits that Pete Hegseth once abused alcohol, but denies that he was ever an alcoholic.
The FBI background check is going to really strip away a lot of the false allegations and just focus on what the evidence is. And the evidence is he didn't do any of these things that he's been accused of.
But he's also openly admitted he's a changed man from several years ago. So how does that square? If you're saying he didn't do any of it, but he's a changed man.
I'm saying he didn't commit the misconduct that they're alleging. So, the sexual assault, totally false. All of this, stuff at CVA, where they said, that he was, climbing on the stage at a strip club, that happened, but it was somebody else. It wasn't him. So, the allegations of misconduct are going to be easily disproven. The fact that earlier in his life, when he was a young, recent combat veteran who came home and dealt with the demons by drinking too much, that's not uncommon. A lot of us went through that. I went through that. A lot of my friends went through that. And a lot of us, like Pete, have overcome that. And he's been able to overcome those demons. So that which drove him to drink is not driving him anymore. It's something a lot of us have done. A lot of us, unfortunately, haven't.
Did he have a drinking problem at that time?
He had a problem with the demons of what he dealt with in combat. It's not alcoholism. Alcohol is something that a lot of veterans use, as a numbing agent to deal with what we dealt with, but it's not alcoholism in the classic clinical sense of the term. So does he have an alcohol problem? No, he does not. He does not. He did not. Yes, he went through a period of time in his life where he drank too much, but that did not lead to any of the allegations that they've tried to make here.
Well, you could almost tell that as he was saying those words, he wanted to get them back, and so he spent the second half of that clip trying to make up for it. That's where we got that really weird line about him abusing alcohol, but not being in the classical clinical sense an alcoholic, which is mind-boggling how anybody can listen to this and go, yeah, he knows what he's talking about. That is the definition of being an alcoholic, abusing alcohol. And, there are recent reports from Fox News, people at Fox News saying Pete Hegseth is still drinking, he's still abusing alcohol. So the idea that, Pete Hegseth was just doing this years ago and that he's over it, it's a little ridiculous. And now we get into the second part of this interview, which kind of ties into those people at Fox News and others who maybe had beef with Pete Hegseth because of his drinking. Let's listen to Pete Hegseth's lawyer talk about the woman who accused Pete Hegseth of accosting her at a Republican conference many years ago.
Do I expect that the Jane Doe from California is going to come in to testify? No, I don't. Because she is in a very unfortunate situation where she told a lie. The police investigated it. They found it was a lie. She told that lie because she wanted to keep her marriage together.
It was a lie. They didn't press charges. Have they said flat out she was lying? Because that's not.
So
I just want to be clear.
What the report says, this is what they found. There's a separate prosecution memo that the Monterey County District Attorney, an elected Democrat, is refusing to release. And the Senate Armed Services Committee is trying to get that report because that is the document where they're going to actually have the analysis of her credibility. But I have had, my investigator has spoken with people at the Monterey County District Attorney's Office, the Monterey Police Department. They told my investigator that upon reviewing the videos, they were actually considering whether to charge her with this. And so
why haven't they said that publicly then? I mean, for our audience, we're relying on what your investigator said, talk to police. And,
it is, what you have is what the state of California's agencies have decided to release under their version of the Freedom of Information Act. And, they are somewhat limited in what they can and can't release under those privacy laws as applicable there. But this is why I am totally unconcerned. I want the FBI to go in and investigate. I want them to talk to all these people because once the FBI report comes out, we can take all this stuff, throw it to the side, and instead focus on policy. Because that's what this hearing should be about. Is it should be about what are Pete's ideas for the policies for the Department of Defense.
So let's talk a little.
Hegseth's lawyer there saying that this woman lied and that a Democrat is keeping the public from knowing her lies. I mean, the audacity. I mean, just give it a rest already. Does it always have to be like, oh, it's the Democrats. Oh, it's a conspiracy. Oh, give it a rest. And then, saying that they're going to charge her. That goes back to what I was talking about in the introduction to that clip and the message that sends to other people at Fox News who thinking about maybe coming forward and saying, hey, look, I'll go, public saying that Pete Hegseth is still abusing alcohol, that he shouldn't be the Secretary of Defense. But you got to ask yourself, is that really worth it? You've got Donald Trump as the commander-in-chief. It's already really bad. Is it really worth it to ruin your life to keep Pete Hegseth out as Secretary of Defense? I got to be honest with you. If I were somebody working at Fox News or anybody else, who's had run-ins with Pete Hegseth when he's drunk, I would be over it. I wouldn't want anything to do with what would come my way with Donald Trump in the White House and all of the mega incels that would try to destroy you if you crossed them. So, any person watching this, we know exactly what he's doing, right? He's attacking her credibility so that if she does testify, they're already going to be all worked up that there's some Democratic conspiracy to, keep Pete Hegseth out when this woman, mind you, again, was accosted at a Republican conference. She is a Republican. So the idea that, Pete Hegseth is the angel and everybody's just out to get him. I mean, who does that sound like? That's like Donald Trump, right? And so Donald Trump's mob-like tactics of, hey, we're going to throw the law at you, bankrupt you, and devastate you, destroy your life, it's the same tactic here.